Hi, it's Cynthia. Today I want to talk about becoming more flexible within our communications, within our interactions, within our conversations. And flexibility is when I think of flexibility, I think of flexibility within the body. I think of the moments when I'm stressed and I have a lot of tension and or if I'm feeling sick in any way and I feel very tight within my body. I feel very stiff and often, though, if I stretch, I'll feel much better, right? Um, and I'll feel better because I'm moving my body. I'm finding another way to connect with my body and not necessarily doing the same movements over and over again that are just conditioning my body to stay the same way. And flexibility, it's similar within communication. So oftentimes within our interactions, we have the same types of interactions, meaning the way that we approach a situation or the way that we approach expressing ourselves or the way that we react to information is often the same, right? It's the same because we haven't yet learned a different way or to communicate. So most of the way that we express ourselves, we ask for things, it comes out similarly each time. And if you've noticed that the way that you are expressing yourself isn't being heard or being understood or being reciprocated by someone else, and you are continuing to express yourself in that same way, well, then you are not using flexibility, right? You are not flexible within your communication or within your interactions. So I want to talk to how do we become more flexible in the sense that how can you potentially be in a conversation maybe after you've expressed yourself in a way that you normally do, or even before you express yourself in a way that you normally do. How can you begin to shift that so that you can see you have options, right? So that you can see that the one way that you interact is not necessarily the only way to interact, and that in that moment you can be flexible, right? There are ways, sorry, there's a truck going by, that there are ways, right, to become more flexible. So here are the big things. When you're in a conversation and you notice that you are not necessarily getting the outcome that you desire, whether it's because of the way you're expressing yourself or forcing information or what have you, right? You want to ask yourself, is there another way to say what I'm saying, right? This can be even before you express yourself. But just tapping into see, do you have options? Is there another way for me to say what I'm saying? And then another question to ask yourself is, what does this person need to understand me? Right? What does this person need so that I know how best to express myself so that they hear me, so that they understand me? Right? So is there another way to say what I'm saying? What does this person need to understand me? Right? What is it that they need me to share or to express, and in what types of way for them to be able to understand me? And then the next question to ask yourself is, can I make this easier to understand? And this really requires you to, look at your language. So you're really going to start to pay attention to the language that you're using and seeing, is what I'm saying making it difficult for someone to understand? Is what I'm saying making it easy for them to get defensive, for them to get to shut down, to move away, right? Or is there a way for me to make this easier? How can I do that? Do I need to bring more compassion? Do I need to listen more presently, right? Really starting to think of your options. And then the last question to think about is there a more engaging, right, or inclusive, I think I like the word inclusive more than engaging, but is there more of an inclusive way to approach this, right? So that it doesn't necessarily feel either that you're demanding something from someone else, you're judging the other person, you're criticizing the other person, you're blaming the other person. But how is it that you can really create more of an inclusive setting and environment for communicating? So these are just some of the ways that you can bring more flexibility into your conversations by asking yourself these questions, especially before having conversations, but even during the conversation, right? Even if you notice yourself responding in a way that is not helpful and that it's, causing the other person to get defensive or causing the other person to lash out. It's in that moment where you notice yourself doing the same thing again and again and again that you want to stop, take a breath, and ask yourself these questions. Ask yourself, is there another way to say what I'm saying? What does this other person need to hear from me so that it will be easier for them to understand, right? Can I make this easier to understand? And then, is there a more inclusive way to share this information? Hopefully, this was helpful. Let me know, and I will talk with you guys soon. Okay, bye.